Listen carefully for a moment. What I'm about to say might make some people uncomfortable, but discomfort doesn't mean it's wrong. Sometimes it just means we're touching something real. Look around your life. Look at the men you know. Strong men, healthy men, men with goals, routines, discipline, money in the bank, and direction. How many of them are single? Not newly single, not taking a break, but alone for years, not because they can't find someone, but because they've decided not to try. Now ask yourself something honestly. When was the last time you saw a genuinely happy couple under the age of 35? Not the photos online, not the curated smiles and matching outfits. Real happiness, calm, mutual respect, peace. If you pause and think about it, the silence answers for you. There's a reason for that silence. We live in a time where solitude has become the most logical choice for men. Not because men don't want love or companionship, but because when you weigh the risks, the cost, and the likely outcome, stepping away often makes more sense than stepping in. It's like choosing to walk instead of getting into a car that statistically crashes most of the time. You're not scared of driving, you're just not reckless. Think of modern dating like a casino table. The buy-in isn't money, it's your peace, your mental health, your time, sometimes your future. The dealer looks at you and says, 70% of people who sit here lose badly. And even among the winners, many admit it wasn't worth what they paid to play. Would you sit down? Of course not. And yet we act confused when men quietly walk away from dating. A family member told me recently, a man in his 30s, successful, disciplined, in shape, well put together, that he hasn't been on a date in 3 years. 3 years, I asked him why. His answer was simple and honest. He said every time he opens a dating app, it feels like he's applying for a job he was never qualified for. The requirements are endless. Height, income, lifestyle, confidence, emotional intelligence, humor, ambition, spiritual depth, and somehow also mystery. He joked that he needed to be a CEO, therapist, athlete, comedian, and mind reader all at once. And here's the part people don't like to say out loud. Expectations have drifted so far from reality that the market stopped functioning. Value and entitlement got confused. It's like trying to sell an old car at a luxury price and then blaming buyers when no one shows up. Instead of adjusting expectations, people insult the customers. I remember years ago sitting across from a young woman at a cafeteria. She worked a basic job, lived with roommates, had little savings, nothing wrong with that. Most people start there, but her list of demands for a partner was enormous. House, luxury car, constant travel, endless attention. I asked her gently what she felt she brought that matched those demands. She looked offended. She said she was the prize. Just for existing, that mindset used to be rare. Now it's common. You see it everywhere. People who don't take care of themselves demanding peak physical fitness in others. People buried in debt expecting wealth. People offering chaos expecting stability. And when reality doesn't comply, they don't self-reflect. When a game is designed so one side carries all the risk and the other, all the reward, eventually players leave. That's exactly what's happening. Men are not blind. We watch what happens to other men. We see divorces destroy lives. We see fathers separated from children. We see good men mocked for not being enough. We see clips celebrating the use of men for meals, attention, or validation. And then we're asked why men stopped trying. They didn't disappear. They went home. They built routines. They trained their bodies. They started businesses. They surrounded themselves with men who respect effort, because in those spaces, work still leads to results. What truly changed is how men's contributions are viewed. A man can work long hours, pay bills, fix problems, remember important dates, show up emotionally, plan time together, and still be told that's the bare minimum. What once earned appreciation is now dismissed as expected. In previous generations, effort was respected. Now gratitude feels optional and temporary. Try this experiment. Look at how openly men are insulted online. Entire genders mocked daily, applauded, encouraged. Reverse it and notice how quickly it becomes unacceptable. That imbalance matters. When disrespect becomes normal, disengagement follows. You can't constantly demean someone and expect them to keep showing up enthusiastically. I once worked with a young man in his late 20s, quiet, decent, stable career, good values. He told me about a date he went on. He picked her up, took her to a restaurant she chose, paid for everything. The entire evening she was on her phone, posting photos, tagging places. never acknowledging him. At the end, she told him the date was boring and walked away. Nothing. He spent money to be ignored, and later saw her post about how men don't know how to date anymore. That contradiction is not rare. It's normal now. Housing expectations show the same pattern. People living with multiple roommates, struggling financially, disqualifying men who don't own property. In major cities, only a small percentage of young men own homes. That means most men are rejected instantly. Then confusion follows about why dating feels impossible. The math never worked. I knew a woman who tracked potential partners in a spreadsheet. Height, income, education, lifestyle. She earned modestly herself. Years passed. Panic set in. Standards dropped quickly, but the men she once rejected had already moved on. Time does not negotiate. It doesn't wait for readiness. There's also a misunderstanding around independence. Truly independent people don't advertise it. They don't need slogans. The loudest declarations often hide insecurity. It's coping, and deep down people know it. Biology doesn't disappear because we ignore it. Preferences don't freeze because we delay decisions. You see the same cycle repeat. Early 20s, no interest in commitment. Late 20s, selective seriousness. Early 30s, confusion. Mid-30s, urgency. But by then, many options are gone. Men learn patterns too. A man who's stable in his 30s often chooses peace over chaos. That's not cruelty, it's logic. Social media made this worse. It distorted perception. One message from a high-status man can convince someone that's their level. But attention isn't commitment. Algorithms feed fantasy, not truth. And the tragedy is that most men aren't asking for much. They want respect, loyalty, kindness, basic effort. Someone who contributes instead of competes. Somehow that's framed as unreasonable. Shaming men doesn't work anymore. Insults lost their power. Men discovered something important. Solitude isn't suffering. Being undervalued is. Silence can be peaceful. A quiet home can be safe. Freedom over constant emotional negotiation starts to look attractive. I once attended an expensive wedding. Everything looked perfect, but the groom looked defeated. Nitpicked, controlled, unappreciated. 6 months later, divorce. He kept the debt, she kept the image. Stories like this spread. Men don't fear commitment, they fear irreversible mistakes. Men adapt. They build alternative sources of meaning. Brotherhood, work, physical training. Purpose women, on the other hand, were told they could delay everything indefinitely. That men would always be there. No one warned them that men might stop playing. Dating apps multiplied illusions. Hundreds of matches felt like endless choice, but most weren't choices at all. They were noise. Meanwhile, approaching in real life became risky. At work, inappropriate. At the gym, intrusive. At bars, predatory. Online, invisible. Doors wired with alarms, then confusion when no one enters. Men understand investment, risk versus reward. Modern relationships often offer high risk with little upside. Unequal rules. One side encouraged to demand, the other pressured to adapt endlessly. Men told they must improve forever, women told they're perfect as is. That imbalance breaks systems. There are studies showing most men are rated as below average. That's statistically impossible. But perception doesn't obey math. Delusion spreads faster than reality, and reality always collects its debt eventually. The men who succeed today stopped chasing approval. They detached emotionally. Ironically, that attracts attention. The good men who would commit are overlooked. Chaos is rewarded, ignored, until consequences arrive. Loneliness for men changed. It stopped hurting the same way. They learned how to live with it. Dogs, hobbies, goals, peace, silence, without judgment, control over time and money. That's not emptiness, that's freedom. Women often experience solitude differently. The promises they were sold don't deliver comfort later. Wine jokes, motivational quotes, surface-level coping. But deep dissatisfaction remains. They thought they could choose later. That timing didn't matter. Stores close. Windows end. I watched a group of women once, loudly complaining about men while rejecting every option presented to them. The contradiction was painful to watch. The loudest complaints often come from those offering the least. It's projection, not insight. This mindset bleeds into younger generations. Teenagers already opting out before they begin. They've seen the outcomes. They've watched men they admire suffer. Why would they sign up? The idea of men as a backup plan failed. The men who were once ignored built lives without bitterness. They're not waiting. Peace changed their priorities. Financial expectations remain mismatched. Traditional provision demanded without traditional cooperation. Leadership rejected but responsibility enforced. It's an impossible role. Even men who recognize the trap feel the pull. Instinct to provide doesn't disappear easily, but eventually logic wins. The reward no longer justifies the effort. There's something people rarely talk about: the calm of being alone. No conflict, no constant judgment, no walking on eggshells. Home becomes sanctuary. Decisions become simple. Life becomes quieter, clearer. This didn't happen because men hate women. It happened because incentives changed. Until that's acknowledged, nothing shifts. My advice to men is simple: build yourself. Protect your peace. If someone adds value, welcome them. If not, walk away without anger. You lose nothing. For women, the question is also simple: are your standards rooted in reality or in screens? Most won't ask honestly until consequences arrive. Change rarely comes from debate. It comes from discomfort. Society may one day realize that structure wasn't oppression, it was balance. That effort mattered. That appreciation mattered. I recently overheard a familiar scene. Complaints, swipes, rejection, dissatisfaction, all at once. It's the same pattern repeating endlessly. The saddest part is that this could have been avoided with honesty, with humility, with mutual respect. Until then, the system keeps collapsing, birth rates drop, loneliness rises, and years from now, people will wonder how it happened. It's happening now. Reality doesn't care about narratives. It doesn't negotiate feelings. It waits patiently, and it always wins. If this perspective made you pause or recognize something you've seen in your own life, take a moment to reflect. If you value honest conversations about psychology, relationships, and modern life, consider subscribing. And if you have thoughts or experiences, share them below. Someone else might need to hear them. Choose clarity over noise. Choose peace over chaos.